interrupt your broadcasting station for a very important message. A reoccurring question with the foods we eat, as well as the foods that you feed your children, is one of the most important factors you can think of. What is inside these products? You may think you know what your child is consuming. You may think you have it all figured out. However, just because there aren't GMOs on the labeling of your food, does not automatically mean that the food you're consuming is GMO-free. In fact, contrary to the beliefs of neoclassical economists, consumers do not have the perfect information of what they consume in relation to the inputs and with processing methods used, as well as the attributes of the product.
First, let's understand GMOs a little bit more in depth before continuing on. Let's start with their supposed benefits. Elimination of the application of chemical pesticides, herbicide tolerance, resistance from many viruses, fungi, and bacteria that cause plant diseases, cold tolerance, and a quick fix to malnutrition in third world countries. So now, what are GMOs? They are genetically engineered foods, created by the merging of DNA from different species. Genetically modified organisms are found in 70% of supermarkets' product line, including foods such as corn, soy, canola oil, beets, papaya, zucchini, squash, and much, much more. When first introduced in 1994, GMOs were an answer to world hunger due to the ability to produce pesticide and herbicide-resistant crops. Farmers would therefore increase their crop yield while decreasing their cost. That was the ideal view of the crop's reaction to GMOs. However, consequently, bugs and weeds have become resistant to these added chemicals, forcing farmers to use even more chemicals on these crops, meaning more damage to the environment, as well as added health concern and a more costly process for farmers. Although the health concerns of GMOs is an ongoing debate that is unclear and far from conclusion, people should have the right to decide whether they want to consume foods that have been genetically modified. Mandatory labeling of food with genetically modified ingredients exists in the European Union, Russia, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. However, it does not exist in Canada. Recent changes, however, have made it easier for companies to voluntarily label genetically modified ingredient-containing foods. Some of these foreign genes that are being inserted into ingredients in our food include viruses and bacteria, things that have never been in the human food supply until the 1990s, when the scientists put it there. Although not completely clear, some of the assumed and observed health risks of GMOs include allergies such as reactions to genetically modified soy, as well as a 50% increase in allergies to soy, a rise in toxicity from inserting an exotic gene into an organism, new diseases, and a decrease in nutritional value. These side effects were warned by FDA scientists who also suggested long-term safety studies. But this request was ignored, feeding into our limited knowledge on the safety aspect of the topic. Alternatively, biotech companies who are found guilty for hiding toxic effects of their products are ironically in charge of determining whether genetically modified products / our food are safe. Now, for some other examples.
GMOs don't just appear in processed foods, but they appear in fresh produce as well. The banana, a very common Stone Age fruit, was originally filled with seeds and cannot be eaten because of it. It's through genetic modifications that we've developed the soft, nearly seedless banana that is quite enjoyed regularly all over the world. Many people in third world countries getting 50% or more of their daily caloric intake through bananas. The result of these modifications is the need of human help to help multiply and reproduce. Farmers cultivate bananas by cloning or cutting them and then replanting old-time GMOs. Only genetic modification can save the banana, says a story that came out in 2001 and resurfaced again in 2003. The Cavendish banana is an Asian breed of bananas that is the most widespread of the commercial banana products, and there are claims that because the bananas are sterile, they can't be bred to avoid lethal banana viruses, such as black sigatoka, a fast-spreading fungal infection that could wipe out the entire planet. Because of their inability to build up a resistance to any threat against its life, they could therefore be extinct within a decade, making GM essential to the survival of this very important product. The FAO, however, contradicts these claims, due to the fact that the spread of disease is aggravated by the wild-scale use of the Cavendish banana, and that by simply promoting greater genetic diversity, this epidemic can be countered. We have all these small-scale farmers who celebrate the diversity of bananas growing a wide variety of banana types, which are less threatened than the Cavendish, and have, for the most part, successfully less genetic modified crops, proving that the cheapest and fastest route to the multi-million-dollar companies is a route that they will take. Back to you, Carly.
Thank you, Zach. In addition to genetically modified bananas, there is also the genetically modified soybean that we can explore. Now, make sure you understand that these are absolutely not the only foods that have been genetically modified. However, for your benefit of understanding, as well as time efficiency, we've decided to talk in depth about only a couple prominent genetically modified foods. The first genetically modified soybeans were created by the giant agriculture company Monsanto and planted in 1996. They now occupy 9 countries, covering approximately 60 million hectares, or 6 times 10 to the power of 11 square meters. In fact, 89% of soybeans that are cultivated commercially are genetically modified. These soybeans possess a gene from the Agrobacterium sp strain CP4, a similar gene to that found in the original soybean, but is sensitive to glyphosate, a herbicide used to kill weeds. The newly inserted gene modifies the soybean to be herbicide resistant. Now, according to Health Canada, who conducted a thorough investigation on the genetically modified soybean, they are no different and pose no problems than a conventional soybean would, therefore giving them the big okay to be sold all over the world. However, since the outbreak of genetically modified foods in our supermarkets, not just the soybeans alone, allergy levels in Europe and the US to foods such as soy, corn, and peanuts have skyrocketed in both children and adults. Referring to soy specifically, allergies to this product in the UK jumped to a 50% increase. So what is in these genetically modified soy products that may cause more allergic reactions? Well, first of all, the protein that is used in the production of the Roundup Ready soy has sections of its amino acid sequence identical to those of known allergens, and that even after ingestion, the transgene continues to produce the Roundup's protein within your gut. In addition to this, studies have shown that genetically modified processes may have increased natural allergens in soy. For example, the known allergen trypsin inhibitor was found 27% more in raw genetically modified soybeans. It is also possible that changes in genetically modified soy DNA and by adding a foreign gene may pose more allergens and hence more allergic reactions. In addition, there is the possibility for decreased nutritional value when something is genetically modified, by making nutrients unavailable or undigestible by humans. An example comes from a study showing that a strain of genetically modified soybean produced lower levels of phytoestrogen compounds, believed to protect against heart disease and cancer, than traditional soybeans. Back to you, Zach.
As a whole, with the exception of allergenicity, many scientists believe that the GM foods do not pose a problem to human health, whether it be because of economically driven conspiracies, or simply because the scientists are right and they do not have anything too different from the original product. The environment hazards are, however, lengthy and completely impossible to sweep under the carpet.
Harm to other organisms because of the toxins killing organisms such as monarch butterflies and caterpillars is very prominent with genetically modified foods.
In addition to this, certain organisms such as mosquitoes have become immune to the now illegal pesticide DDT, and many are concerned that they also become resistant to other crops that have been genetically modified to produce their own pesticides.
All in all, it can be concluded that although we may think we know everything, or close to everything about the food we're consuming and that we buy at supermarkets, we are nowhere near close to knowing what is happening to the food before we buy it or before it even enters the grocery stores. Hopefully one day Canada will be a GMO-labeled country, allowing consumers to know what they're eating and consciously make the decision to what they are ingesting. Until now, folks, welcome to living in the unknown.